Secrets of Living Soil for a Blooming Garden. Garden for Adults 50 Plus. Hey there, friends, and welcome to Meaningful Living. It's always a joy to connect with you. Pol and Nick are so happy to have you here today. Pol and I are constantly searching for the most helpful and interesting information to share with you. Remember, taking care of yourself is paramount, so before you dive into any task, assess how you're feeling and give yourself time. Today, we're diving into a topic that might seem small, but it's incredibly vital for anyone who loves spending time in their garden: the hidden life beneath our feet. Have you ever wondered what truly makes your plants thrive, or why sometimes your garden just doesn't bounce back like it used to? We'll uncover some fascinating secrets together. But before we dig in, I'd love to hear from you. How are you doing today? Are you feeling good? Drop a few words in the comments below. I'd truly love to hear from you and what's on your mind. Your thoughts mean a lot to me. The secret workforce beneath your garden. Hey everyone! When Pol first started gardening decades ago, long before the internet and all these fancy apps, nobody really talked about what was happening under the soil. We'd focus on the beautiful blooms, the pesky bugs, or what the weather was doing. But after years of digging, observing, and learning from both nature and science, Nick and I discovered something truly groundbreaking. It completely changed how we approach gardening, and we're so excited to share it with you. Right beneath your garden, under your tomatoes, your roses, even where you might place your lawn chair, there's a bustling, thriving world of tiny workers. These are what we call soil microbes, and trust me, these little fellas are the real MVPs of your garden. We're talking about bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae, and nematodes, all quietly working 24/7 without pay, without even taking a coffee break. They're constantly breaking down old leaves, unlocking essential nutrients that plant roots can't reach on their own, and even building that wonderful, fluffy, dark soil we all dream of. Think of it this way: if your plants were guests at a cozy bed and breakfast, these microbes would be the ones changing the sheets, cooking up a delicious breakfast, and bravely defending the front door from any unwelcome invaders. And here's something that might genuinely surprise you. Even if your garden soil looks dry, dusty, or lifeless, it already holds billions of microbes in every single handful. According to some amazing research from Oregon State University, just one tiny teaspoon of healthy soil can contain more living organisms than there are people on Earth. Isn't that incredible? The best part? You don't need to start from scratch. You simply need to help these existing populations thrive. That's truly exciting, especially for us older gardeners. We might not be able to lift as much as we used to, but we certainly know how to nurture. And nurturing these hidden helpers could just be the most rewarding and often overlooked part of gardening. Shall we see how to bring them to life? Let's keep going. What soil microbes really need and how we can help them thrive. Now that we know these microbes are the unsung heroes of your garden, here's the part that makes this truly exciting. You don't have to buy them, import them, or brew any fancy concoctions to get more. They're already there, right beneath your feet, even in soil that might look dry or neglected. Scientists at the University of Colorado found over 1 billion bacteria in just 1 gram of soil, and that's before we've done anything to help them. These tiny workers are patient, but just like us, or any living thing, they need 3 essentials to thrive: air, water, and food. It's a lot like us in our golden years, isn't it? We cherish a good walk in fresh air, a cool glass of water by the porch, and a warm, homemade meal. Microbes aren't so different. Without enough air, they suffocate. Without enough moisture, they go dormant. And without organic matter, they simply starve. The good news is, we gardeners, especially those of us with years of experience and a deep love for nature, already have the instincts to create just the right environment for them. Whether you've got raised beds, a tiny backyard patch, or just a few grow bags by the fence, you absolutely can support this incredible invisible community beneath the soil. Over the next few minutes, Pol and I will walk you through each of these 3 needs with clear, gentle steps you can easily take. Because, as we've learned, gardening in our senior years isn't about doing more. It's about doing it smarter, with the wisdom we've earned season after season. So, let's start with air. It's truly the breath of life for every microbe, and for us gardeners too. Let the soil breathe. Why air is life for your garden's microbes. Let's talk about something we often overlook in gardening: air. Just like us, microbes need it to live. Without enough oxygen, their world goes silent, and when they go quiet, our plants feel it too. You see, in healthy garden soil, about 25% of its volume should ideally be air. That's what keeps everything lively and bustling down there. But when the soil gets compacted, whether it's from heavy boots, garden carts, or even repeated heavy rain, those tiny air pockets vanish. And when the air disappears, our hard-working microbes start to suffocate. I remember a summer years back, when my beans just wouldn't take off. I had plenty of water, added compost, and even had plenty of sunshine. But what I didn't realize was that I was stepping through the bed each morning, unintentionally flattening the precious life below. These days, Pol and I have learned to always walk beside our garden beds, not directly through them. Creating permanent garden paths is one of the best things we seniors can do. It saves our knees, saves the soil from compaction, and gives those tiny microbes all the room they need to breathe and thrive. And very importantly, it helps us avoid unnecessary strain and conserve energy, as we know that with age, our bodies need more care. And here's another small shift that can make a huge difference. Try to skip the deep tilling. It might feel satisfying to turn over the soil, but studies, like those from the USDA, have shown that aggressive tilling can disrupt up to 90% of beneficial fungal networks in just one pass. Those delicate threads take time to rebuild, especially in older, slower-growing soil. Instead, we recommend laying down a good layer of mulch, whether it's dried leaves, wood chips, or straw. Not only does mulch keep your soil cool and moist, but it also softens the impact of heavy rains, preventing compaction. Those little microbes may be invisible, but they're sensitive. Think of mulch as a gentle, cozy quilt you tuck them in with, especially as we move into the warmer months. So the next time you're out in your garden, take a deep breath yourself, and remember to let your soil do the same. You'll be amazed how much more vibrant everything becomes when you give your garden a little space to inhale. Water wisely, keeping soil moist for microbial magic. Now that we've given our soil room to breathe, let's talk about its second lifeline: water. Believe it or not, most of your garden's microbes don't actually live inside the soil particles. Instead, they live in a delicate, almost invisible film of water that clings to each tiny grain of soil. It's like their miniature swimming pool. Without this moisture, they simply can't move, eat, or grow. If that moisture disappears, especially during those hot, dry spells we often get, many microbes go into a kind of hibernation. Some even die off entirely. And just like that, your garden's engine slows down dramatically. That's precisely why we don't just water for our plants. We water for the incredibly valuable life below the surface. The key here is consistency. Pol and I always recommend trying to water deeply but less often. This gives the moisture ample time to soak down into the root zone, right where both the microbes and your plants need it most. A quick sprinkle on the surface just won't cut it, especially when the summer sun is beating down. And here's our old friend again: mulch. Oh, how mulch does wonders. By covering the soil with a natural layer of leaves, straw, or bark, we help lock in that precious moisture, keep the soil temperature stable, and significantly reduce evaporation. According to research from the University of California's Agriculture and Natural Resources Division, mulched beds can actually retain up to 25% more soil moisture than bare ones. That's a huge difference. But just as we seniors know not to overdo the coffee or lemonade, our microbes don't like being flooded either. Too much water pushes the essential air out of the soil, which can suffocate them. It's all about balance, not too dry, not too soggy. Just like we enjoy a cool, refreshing drink on a warm day, our soil life needs gentle, regular hydration to stay comfortably active and get their important work done. So, the next time you hold that hose, or gently set your watering can down beside your favorite rocking chair, remember you're not just quenching thirsty plants. You're hydrating an entire invisible ecosystem, a bustling community that's quietly working in your favor to make your garden truly magnificent. Feeding the soil, not just the plants. Now this part, my friends, is where everything truly starts to come alive, literally. Because here's a truth many of us older gardeners didn't hear in our younger days. Plants aren't the only ones that need feeding. The soil, or more precisely, the hardworking microbes in the soil, need their meals too. And they're not interested in those store-bought synthetic fertilizers, not one bit. Synthetic fertilizers might give your plant growth a short-term boost, but they do absolutely nothing for the microbes. What these tiny, vital allies really crave is organic matter. Essentially, anything that was once alive and can decompose. This means things like compost, especially the kind that's still a little chunky and takes time to break down. It means shredded leaves, grass clippings, aged manure, and even those wilted lettuce heads from the back of your fridge. As Pol and I like to say around here, if it rots, it feeds. Every time you add organic material to your garden, you're not making a mess. You're actually stocking the pantry for an entire underground community. They take that organic matter and, through their incredible processes, turn it into the precise nutrients your plants can actually use. But here's a tip most folks miss, and it's one that's absolutely perfect for us seniors who may not want to be turning huge compost piles all day. Just keep something growing. Even a few pots of herbs or a small patch of wildflowers can do wonders. You see, plant roots naturally feed microbes through something called root exudates, little droplets of sugar and nutrients they release into the soil while photosynthesizing. And those exudates, well, they're like a delicious buffet line for microbes. The moment those goodies are released, microbes flock to the roots, multiplying, feeding, dying, and decomposing, creating a rich, nutrient-dense environment right where the plant needs it most. It's a brilliant, self-sustaining cycle, one that can transform even poor, seemingly lifeless soil into dark, fertile ground over time. Not by adding more artificial fertilizer, but simply by keeping the soil alive with roots. So, whether you're growing tomatoes, zinnias, or just letting your parsley flower, know this: you're feeding far more than just your plants. You're building a soil system that actually gets better every single year. And that's something any gardener, at any age, can feel immensely proud of. Don't fall for the hype. Why store-bought microbes aren't the answer. Alright, my fellow garden lovers, let's have a little heart-to-heart about something you've probably seen in garden stores or in those late-night online ads. I'm talking about those fancy bottles promising miracle microbes, powders, liquids, probiotic sprays, all claiming they'll supercharge your soil. But here's the truth most folks don't tell you, and it's something Pol and I want you to know. Your soil already has more microbial life than any product could ever add. According to research published in Nature Reviews Microbiology, a single gram of healthy garden soil can host over 50,000 species of microbes. And those store-bought products? Most of them contain just 3 to 6 types, often chosen not for their specific benefits to your garden, but because they're cheap and easy to grow in a factory. That's like trying to plant a whole wildflower meadow but thinking that just 3 dandelions will change everything. It simply doesn't make sense. What's even more surprising? Soil can only hold so many microbes at once. Think of it like a full stadium. It reaches its capacity naturally. If you add more, most of them simply die off or get outcompeted by the native species that already know the lay of the land and are perfectly adapted to your specific garden environment. I get it. We all want quick fixes, especially when our backs aren't what they used to be and bending over isn't as easy as it once was. But Pol and I firmly believe the best investment isn't in a bottle of something you buy. It's in real organic matter, living plant roots, and allowing the quiet, patient rhythm of nature to do what it's done for millions of years. So, save your money and your trust for what truly works. Your soil, your existing microbes, and your garden will absolutely thank you for it. The truth about molasses, milk, and compost teas. Now, I know many of us have come across garden tips online that swear by things like molasses, milk, or compost teas to boost soil life. And I'll admit, when I, Pol, was eager to test every miracle method making the rounds, I tried a few of those tricks myself. At first glance, it all sounds pretty promising, doesn't it? Molasses is full of sugars, milk has nitrogen and protein, and compost tea seems like a natural boost for the soil, right? But here's the thing, while microbes do love sugar and carbon, what they love even more is balance. When you dump in a sweet treat like molasses, you get a sudden, explosive spike in microbial activity, especially from bacteria that gobble up sugars. But then, just like us after a candy binge, they crash. The food runs out, the delicate balance is lost, and often the helpful, diverse microbes die off first, leaving room for less desirable ones to take over. In fact, studies published in the Journal of Applied Soil Ecology have shown that adding high-sugar solutions can actually cause microbial imbalances, favoring short-lived bacteria over the diverse, stable ecosystem we truly want in a healthy garden. And too much milk. It can turn the soil sour and attract flies and other pests. Not exactly the garden guests we're hoping for. As for compost teas, well, most of the real nutrients tend to stay in the sludge at the bottom. That murky water might look rich, but unless you're treating a very specific soil disease or running a large commercial operation, brewing these teas can often do more harm than good if not done with extreme precision. At our age, Pol and I have learned the immense value of doing things slow, steady, and simple. And that's exactly how microbes thrive too. No fancy concoctions or rushed solutions needed. Just give them what nature already provides, patiently and consistently, and they'll do the rest of the amazing work for you. The secret I wish I knew at 50. Plants don't just grow in soil, they make it. Now this next bit, dear friends, is something I, Pol, truly wish I had understood when I was 50. Back then, I was still full of energy, still trying to fix my soil with every product under the sun. What I didn't realize then is that plants don't just take from the soil, they actually give back to it. In fact, they are some of the very best builders of healthy, fertile soil there are. Let me explain. When a plant photosynthesizes, soaking up sunlight and turning it into energy, it sends a good portion of that energy downward, through its roots. There, it releases what scientists call exudates, tiny droplets of sugars, amino acids, and organic acids into the surrounding soil. And those exudates, they're like a gourmet buffet line for microbes. The moment those delicious goodies are released, microbes flock to the roots, multiplying, feeding, dying, and decomposing. This constant activity creates a rich, nutrient-dense environment right where the plant needs it most. It's a brilliant, self-sustaining cycle, one that can transform even poor, seemingly lifeless soil into dark, fertile ground over time. Not by adding more artificial fertilizer, but simply by keeping the soil alive with roots. So, even if you're not planting a huge vegetable garden this season, you can still profoundly improve your soil just by growing anything. Wildflowers, native grasses, or even clover planted between your rows can do wonders. A patch of green above ground means that underground pantry stays open and active. And for us seniors, who may not be harvesting as much as we used to, this is incredibly comforting. Because just by planting and letting life grow, we're still giving back, not just to our soil, but to the earth itself, and to the future hands that will tend it after us. Easy, proven micro-boosting tips for gardeners in their golden years. By now, you might be wondering, how can I put all of this into action without needing a young back or a fancy tool belt? Well, good news. You don't have to overhaul your entire garden to see big results. In fact, most of the best micro-boosting techniques are things many of us older gardeners already enjoy doing, just with a little more intention. Start with compost or aged mulch. Adding a layer here and there, even just a few times a year, builds essential food and structure for the soil. Let your leaves fall and stay put. Your soil microbes will absolutely thank you for it. This is one of the easiest ways to provide continuous organic matter. Keep your beds covered year-round, whether it's with mulch, living plants, or even a scattering of wildflowers. Bare soil is like leaving your front door open in winter. It loses heat, moisture, and microbial life incredibly fast. Be gentle with your soil. Always use walkways to avoid compacting the places where roots grow, and skip deep digging unless you absolutely must. Every time you turn that soil, you're disrupting complex underground communities that have taken months, even years, to form. Remember that your health and comfort come first. Listen to your body and don't overexert yourself. Most importantly, just keep something growing. Even during off-seasons, a patch of clover in winter or a few marigolds in spring can keep your microbial network alive and humming. And remember, you don't need those pricey powders, potions, or probiotic kits. As Pol and I have seen through both science and our many years of experience, the best fertilizer is still time, consistent care, and a steady supply of organic compost. It's a slower, more natural approach, just like us, and it truly works wonders. If your garden feels tired, if your plants look pale, or if your harvests just aren't what they used to be, don't blame your seeds. Don't rush out to buy another bottle or gadget. Just pause and look beneath your feet. Because the true secret to a vibrant garden isn't found in a store, it's in the living soil already in your yard. A whole community of tiny workers is waiting quietly, patiently for your care. Give them air, give them water, and feed them with the organic matter nature intended. Keep something growing, even if it's just a patch of clover or wildflowers. Let your soil rest, breathe, and rebuild. And as we've learned in life, sometimes the best things come not from doing more, but from doing it gently and wisely. And there you have it, friends. We've journeyed deep beneath the soil today and discovered the incredible unseen world of microbes, the true heroes of your garden. Remember, if your garden feels tired, if your plants look pale, or if your harvests aren't what they used to be, don't blame your seeds or rush out to buy another bottle of product. Just pause and look beneath your feet, because the secret to a vibrant, thriving garden isn't in the store, it's in the living soil already in your yard. A whole community of tiny workers is waiting quietly, patiently for your care. Give them air, give them water, and feed them with the organic matter nature intended. And most importantly, keep something growing, even if it's just a patch of clover or a few cheerful wildflowers. Let your soil rest, breathe, and rebuild itself. Don't rush into your work. Before you begin, assess the weather, your own physical state, and take a moment of calm to truly enjoy your time in the garden. As Pol and I have learned throughout our lives, sometimes the best things come not from doing more or doing it faster, but from doing it gently and wisely. This wisdom applies beautifully to our gardens too. Now, we'd love to hear from you. How do you nurture the soil in your garden? Do you have any favorite tips for keeping your plants and the unseen life below healthy and happy? Share your own wisdom and experience in the comments below. Your advice could be incredibly helpful and inspiring to others in our meaningful living community. If this video brought you clarity or sparked a little inspiration for your own garden, please tap that like button. And if you know someone who might benefit from these insights, don't hesitate to share this video with them. Finally, for more tips and inspiration to enrich your daily life, be sure to subscribe to Meaningful Living. We're here, Pol and I, to help you live your very best life, season after season.